Kiki!
Rah, swear, hey, hey, oh.
And welcome back to the Break Late Talk Fast podcast, where today we will be going over all the drivers and their contracts for 2027. But it seems like there's not many already locked down for 2027. So let's discuss and see who is going where for the 2027 season.
There's so many contracts that are expiring at the end of this season, and so many drivers that are looking around for teams. That silly season, once it begins, this might be the silliest of all the seasons.
Hey, it could be, or it could be boring, and we have almost the same lineup as we have had this year. So it's going to be interesting, but I hope it is silly, and it is a silly season. But I reckon we start off with McLaren, hey?
McLaren, we'll kick it off with all the teams that actually are confirmed to have these drivers in their lineup. I saw a post by F1 this morning, and there's only actually 3 teams with confirmed both their drivers for the upcoming season. So yeah, McLaren is first. Lando Norris confirmed to be driving next year. He has a current contract until 2027 worth $30 million.
Damn, that money.
Yeah, they tied him down. He signed a 2-year deal in 2025, and he's not going anywhere for the next season.
And he's lining up next to Mr. Oscar Piastri, who is signed on a 3-year deal from 2025 to 2028. But there's a lot of rumors around this guy, Oscar Piastri. He wants out, I think. But will it happen when you have a 3-year contract?
Look, he's got that 3 years contract he signed in 2025, and it's $13 million. And I think he could get some more money wherever he goes. If he was to go to Red Bull, strong links there, strong links to Audi, whichever team he went to, they would pay him, I would say, at least 20 mil. He could get an extra 7 mil, a bigger contract, be a number 1 driver at a team. I've said this so many times. This year, Oscar Piastri should leave McLaren, but for 2027, I think he's staying put. It's been confirmed by F1 themselves. So Oscar Piastri's got another year being a cuck, basically. He's sitting in the chair while McLaren and Lando Norris will get it on.
Oh, poor guy, man. But hey, at least he's still in a competitive car, and hopefully he can show it up somehow, even though, they are against him. Not that we know, but they are against him 100%. 100%. All right. Who's up next?
We've got Ferrari up next. They have a confirmed driver lineup of Charles Leclerc, who just recently signed a new contract to keep him at Ferrari until 2029, worth $34 million. And then he's still partnered up alongside Lewis Hamilton, whose contract actually expires at the end of next year, worth a goddamn $60 million per year. Per year. He's almost doubled Charles Leclerc's income for a year.
That's actually unreal. Ferrari are paying absolute bank to their drivers. They're almost up to almost $100 million per year for both their drivers. That is insane.
$94 million for 2 people that can't seem to get a good run of momentum going.
They are good drivers, don't get me wrong, but $100 million, the top spenders, that's unreal. That is unreal.
It's ridiculous. I get Charles Leclerc, great driver. He does deserve that money, but he has $4 million more than Lando Norris, who's a WDC winner last year. I don't think he should be paying more than Lando Norris. Lewis Hamilton, I'd actually surprised it's actually only $60 million. I thought he began paying 70, 80 because he has the most championships in F1 history alongside Michael Schumacher.
And the brand exposure Lewis brings with just him coming to the team, I honestly thought it was going to be more. But hey, 60 million is completely fair, 100%.
Yeah, well, they're boring. Ferrari keeping the same driver lineup. But Cadillac are the only other team to have both their drivers locked in and ready to arrive next year. And that has Valtteri Bottas has a contract until 2027 worth $5 million. And then Sergio Perez is on the same contract, except his is worth $8 million per year.
This is like 10% of Ferrari's budget on drivers. That's unreal.
Yeah.
But
Cadillac got no money.
But it's good they're locked down drivers. They're two, obviously, big drivers that have been around the sport for a very, very long time. But is both of the drivers up to it? Because I think Bottas may not be up to it anymore. There's been rumours, obviously, at the start of the season where they were wanting to maybe replace him with certain drivers.
Yeah, they wanted to axe Bottas as soon as they possibly can with Colton Herta, who I think he might have his super license points now. So I believe, unless Cadillac are just using Bottas and Perez for their experience to build the car, maybe they keep them, until the end of 2027, and then bring Herta in, someone that is a bit more youthful, has a bit more pace than both these guys. It would make sense, but they've locked in Bottas and Perez for next year. And there's also links with Perez potentially talking to Williams as well. So F1 have confirmed that this is their driver lineup for next year, but I'm not too convinced. There could be big changes coming to Cadillac.
Yeah, I think this is the one team out of the confirmed teams that may not have this lineup at all. Could have completely different drivers.
Yeah. Could change. It could change in a couple of weeks' time. You never know. Now, another team who only has one driver solidified in their seat next year is Red Bull, and that is Max Verstappen, who signed a 5-year contract which keeps him at Red Bull until 2028, worth 70 M's per year. He's getting paid more than Lewis Hamilton.
Oh yeah, I think that's fair though. I think if there was one driver on the grid that could earn any money he wanted, it's Max Verstappen at the moment. This guy would go into any team and make them a competitive car. So I think it's a completely fair contract. If not, I reckon he should be earning more. Make it 100, 100 mil.
I was just about to say, I think he's a $100 million driver. That man is so good. He's still in his prime. And each season he seems to somehow get better and better. Like, it's ridiculous. Whatever money that man wanted, and I was a team trying to sign him, I'm just like, go on. Actually, he's 10 million more just to keep you stay even longer.
100%. But there's obviously been rumours, McLaren rumours, Mercedes rumours, but I think he is staying on at Red Bull. And who will he partner? Will Isaac Hadjar actually be there?
Well, it's TBC at the moment. To be continued. To be confirmed. Hadjar is currently on a 1+1 contract, meaning if Red Bull want to keep him on for next year, they'll activate that extra year in his contract. But if they don't think he's doing too well, then they can offload him and don't opt in for that extra year in his contract and can bring someone else to the team. But he's currently also only on a $5 million contract. So that $70 million budget is all used on Verstappen and then just given the leftovers to Hadjar, which I think is fair, valid. Hadjar still has to prove himself. I don't think their lineup will actually change for next year, personally.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think there will be any other driver taking Hadjar's place. He's doing a good job, really. He's actually doing amazing. So I don't see him leaving Red Bull at all. Obviously, Arvid Lindblad's doing amazing at Racing Bulls. And now moving on to Alpine. Alpine have had a lot of circulation around their drivers. Well, not actually their drivers, other drivers. We had Perez, this and that. But do we have Pierre Gasly signed in?
Pierre Gasly is signed in for 2027. He's the only other driver outside of the rest that we've mentioned that is locked in a deal with his team. So in 2025, he signed a 3-year deal to stay at Alpine until 2028, worth $12 million. Now, he's obviously their main driver. He's their number one driver. I think he will always be for the time he is at Alpine. So he's there. Franco Colapinto is not expected to be at the team next year, with only having a 1-year contract for this year only, worth $1 million.
Oof. So who takes that second spot in Alpine?
I'm not too sure. There's so many names going around at the moment. There's a list of potential drivers. They've got Fernando Alonso, apparently, Carlos Sainz, Paul Aaron, Liam Lawson, Sergio Perez has a chance as well. There's such a big list of drivers that could be Pierre Gasly's teammate next year.
Hey, if I'm Alpine, I think I have to take Sainz. Like, out of all those drivers on that list, if I want someone next to Pierre Gasly that's either on the same level or even faster, I think you have to go Sainz.
I'd say Sainz or Lawson. Lawson would be a good shout for the team. He's doing really well at Racing Bulls this year. And I think he'd be a good addition because Alpine look decent this year. They're probably on the same level of the Racing Bulls. And I think Lawson will be able to get some good drives out of that car.
100%. Lawson's really proved this year, after the shocking last season, he's a driver that is here to stay. He's not here to compete for a couple seasons and jet off. He's going to be here for a very long time. But will he be Alpine? Wouldn't be a bad move.
Wouldn't be a bad move, especially because we were writing this guy off at the start of the year. I had said he's not going to be in the world of Formula One. Arve Lindblad's going to cook the man. And it's the roles reversed. Lawson is killing it, and I'm so happy to see him thriving after that awful season last year where Red Bull just absolutely screwed him over. So it's so good to see him having a good season, and he deserves a move outside the Red Bull family and up the field.
100%. He needs to get out of that Red Bull family because he'll never go back to the main team of Red Bull after getting demoted. It just doesn't work like that in Red Bull. You don't get a second chance. So,
no, there's no such thing as a second date for Red Bull.
So get out, find Alpine. Alpine are on the up. They've been competitive this season, which is very surprising after the season they did have last season because that was awful.
Yeah, they went backwards last year. They regressed. I've never seen a team... Actually, no, I lied. Aston Martin this year have been pretty freaking bad. If it's a team that's gone backwards and regressed like crazy, it is Aston Martin. But we'll get onto them a bit later and their drivers.
Wait.
On to Mercedes. The team that is absolutely wiping the floor with everyone this year. You would think, they would want to keep these two drivers for next year, right? But you're wrong. You are wrong. Both seats are still up in the air. Both drivers are on 1+1 contracts. So, like I said before with Isaac Hadjar, if they don't want to keep him for 2027, they can get rid of him and bring someone in. Someone named Max Verstappen, potentially. So, what do we think of that?
I honestly think Kimi Antonelli, he will sign a new contract, but I don't think he'll be a +1. I think it'll be a brand new contract because he's only on 2 mil, and if you're leading the championship, you have a bit of a negotiations going on. You can be like, mate, if I'm leading the championship, I want 10 mil, man. I want 10 mil. And he'll be signed for next year, 100%. By George Russell, I think Toto just never liked George Russell from the beginning, to be honest. It always seems like he's been the outcast, to be honest. So if he could get Max Verstappen somehow, and he has 100 mil to splash, I think we could see Max Verstappen at Mercedes. But will it be in 2027? I don't know.
Hey, George Russell has always been the bridesmaid and never the bride. He's always the one not catching the flowers when they chuck him into the crowd. It's just not worked out for him at Mercedes. He's always been viewed second best by Toto. And the last few seasons, Toto has seemed to do this with the Mercedes contracts, where he wanted to do this with Lewis as well. He wanted to do a 1+1. They didn't want to guarantee Lewis's future there as well. And they've done the same thing again with Russell and Antonelli, even though Russell just recently signed a major contract. 34 million is ridiculous. Again, getting paid more than Lando Norris, the 2025 champion, which I found outrageous because Lando, I think, is a better driver than Russell. It just doesn't make sense, that amount of money. So if Toto can get Max Verstappen, 100% agree with you. Russell is gone. In comes Max. Kimi Antonelli is going to get whatever money he wants next year because he will be the champion at the end of this season, let's be honest. If all goes well, car doesn't fail him, it's written in the stars for him. And I think George could be on the outs.
Jeez, I think it's not even a bold take. I think this is exactly what's going to happen. I don't see Russell at the team for much longer, and Kimi Antonelli, he's going to be that Lewis Hamilton who sticks at the team and just keeps winning those championships.
Exactly. And Russell, there was talks, remember, at the start of the season last year with McLaren. So if Piastri was to possibly leave to go to Red Bull, that could happen. And then he was also having talks with Red Bull themselves. So he got a Red Bull, and now he's been linked with Audi. So there's so many destinations that Russell could land at outside of Mercedes if his contract was to fall through with that +1.
But either way, Mercedes are going to be comfortable. As long as they have Kimi Antonelli and either George Russell or Max, mate, that's a good partnership right there.
It's a very, very, very dominant partnership. The Silver Wall will return, as we covered last week.
But let's get on to the Racing Bulls. We were talking about Liam Lawson not long ago and how he should exit the family. But he doesn't have a contract for 2027. So do you think he will resign or will he be gone?
Look, if he can't find a solid seat from anyone above the Racing Bulls, if I'm him, I would most likely want to stay there because they've been really good this year. At times, they've been getting 6th, 5th in races, and car has been built to perfection. I would say the car might be even better than the bloody Red Bull car this year, which was so funny because it was the same thing last year as well. So I think he deserves a seat at Racing Bulls again next year, regardless. It's just the way that they operate the team. I don't know if that's going to happen. I think he will go somewhere else, but he has a seat guaranteed next year, in my opinion, which is 90% of the time wrong. So, I don't know.
No, I think they both deserve a seat for next year. After the performances Liam Lawson's had and Arvid Lindblad's first season in F1 and the qualifying pace he's had and the race pace he's had, they both deserve a seat for next season. And I would say they should both be racing for Racing Bulls next season and then branch off if that's what they're going to do or climb the ranks if you're Arvid Lindblad to Red Bull.
I think Arvid Lindblad has the potential to take Hadjar's seat if he doesn't perform, be a Max Verstappen replacement. He's really quick, very aggressive type of driver, which is what Red Bull loves to see. But here's the thing, Red Bull always like to chop and change. And there's a man in F2 doing very well right now, Nikola Solov, who has had strong links to this Racing Bull seat for next season because Lawson, like we said, is done next season. Lindblad's on a 1+1 like every other goddamn driver on the grid at the moment, apparently. And so there's strong rumors swirling around that Lindblad and Solov will be the lineup next year for Racing Bulls.
Yeah, I think Nikola Solov is a great driver and should be added to the team, but it really depends what happens with both the current drivers. But hey, I think either way, they will have a competitive car next year as well. So whatever drivers in that team, I think they will be soaking it up because they'll be in the top 10 most races. Yeah,
that Racing Bull car is just going to develop even better as this regs go on. And the Ford engines for them do look pretty strong.
Do not move, bro.
I am ready? A mime.
3, 2, 1. And on to Audi. Audi's a sticky one, I think, because they do have 2 decent drivers. Nico Hülkenberg, who has signed a 2-year deal from 2024 on $5 million, which means his contract comes to an end alongside Gabriel Bortoleto. Wait, no. Bortoleto has a contract up until 2027. So they're both off contract?
So Hülkenberg is off contract at the end of this year, but Bortoleto is a little bit weird. So it's not confirmed he's driving for them next year. However, he has come out and said his contract takes him to 2028 and beyond. But all I could actually find on his current contract is that he has for a contract until the end of 2027. So he has a contract until the end of next year worth $2 million per year. But it's just not confirmed by F1 and Audi that he's actually driving for them next year.
Well, I feel like Gabriel Bortoleto wouldn't say it for no reason. So I would say he's locked in. I would say he's locked into the team. But Nico Hülkenberg, I don't know. If you're Audi, are you keeping Nico Hülkenberg? Yes, he's a good driver. But with the drivers that potentially want to come to Audi, would you pick him?
look, if there's no one else on the market they can get, say, because Carlos Sainz is a big one, George Russell, Oscar Piastri, if the three of them who have strong links to you guys don't work out, you stick with Hulkenberg. There's no one else I'd really want there unless you want to sign a younger driver like Lawson maybe, but then you don't really want to have two young people in that team. You sort of want someone with that, like a veteran, like Hulkenberg, like I have right now, and that young stallion Bortoletto.
Nah, 100%. So it'd be interesting how they play out there, but I wouldn't mind if they stayed exactly how it is for one more season and Hulkenberg stuck it out, kept developing the Audi car, because this Audi car will be a top 4 team, mark my words, by 2030.
Yeah, they will be. Mate, that's a big shout, but I back it. I back that. That is, they're going to build such a great car, and I know why these drivers want to go there, because the money they have behind them is Mercedes level money. Like, they can go to infinity and beyond. Buzz Lightyear is their next driver. You've heard it right here.
So, no, it does make sense why every man and their dog wants to be a driver for Audi, but I think next season it will be Hulkenberg and Bortoletto.
Yeah, it makes sense. It's just not confirmed that they're their drivers, but I think it's an unconfirmed confirmation. You know what I'm saying there?
I feel you. But Aston Martin, this one's always a sticky one because we never know who's going to be their driver. Well, Lance Stroll, what type of contract does he have? No one knows, really. No.
He is an infinite contract because his dad owns the team and he's a billionaire and he still pays his son $12 million a season.
Nah, it has to be more.
$12 million a season.
He definitely gets bonuses for finishing a race. He gets a little private jet every time after a race if he finishes. He gets a little extra money.
His bonus is that he gets to race in Formula One. What do you mean? That's his bonus. His bonus is the seat.
It's actually going to surprise me one day when I look at my phone and it says Lance Stroll is leaving Aston Martin. I'm actually not going to believe it. I won't.
And however, that could be sometime soon because him and Fernando are not confirmed to be driving there next season. Fernando's contract comes to an end this year, which is worth 20 mil per year. And there has been rumours swirling around that if they were to extend 1 or 2 years, he's looking at wanting 40 million per year. And Lance Stroll, there's just no news whatsoever on whatever his situation is.
But I think Fernando Alonso, he wants to stay on for another year. So, because he's not retiring at the end of this year, I heard he wants to keep going. So I think he's going to want another 1-year contract, and 40 million is very steep, but Aston Martin, they have that money. So it's not like it's a problem, really. So it really depends on what Aston Martin want to do, because with Lance Stroll, he's there. They're going to need another main driver. So is there any other main drivers kind of up that want to go to Aston Martin?
Carlos Sainz, I'm going to be honest, his name is just around any other team that isn't Williams at the moment. Sainz, Ocon apparently, and Lawson are 3 drivers that could take Lance Stroll's spot.
Yeah, I was gonna say I do not want to see. Yeah, I don't want to see Ocon versus Lance Stroll. That would be awful.
That would be the worst lineup in the history of Formula One. Imagine Ocon and Lance Stroll in the same team. That is the most diabolical pairing of all time. The DNFs, the 10-second penalties, to the extreme every race weekend.
I do not want to say it. I hope it doesn't happen. It shouldn't happen. There's no speculations of it happening, but imagine that happened. That would be unreal.
All right, Aston Martin it's a weird situation over there. Let's get away from that weirdness. You know, that's a team linked to Jeffrey Epstein, so we ain't getting on that island. I don't want to get anywhere near that island. So let's move on to Williams. They've had a shocker of a year. Their car is overweight. They're supposed to be the belle of the ball, but no one's balls are coming their way. So Alex Albon's contract apparently comes to the end of expires at the end of this season. He's currently on 12 million a year, and the same is to be said about Carlos Sainz, who's on 13 million a year. However, there are some rumors floating around have come out in the last day Sainz is actually willing to extend his contract a further year.
Which is very surprising after all the rumors of being circulating around almost every team on the grid. He just wants out. He wants out, and now there's rumors he's signed. I think Williams could keep the exact same two drivers at this point because I don't really see Albon going anywhere. He's a decent driver, and when you have a bad car, it's hard to tell anything to do with the drivers. So, for me, I think Alex Albon and Carlos Sainz will stay on if the rumors are true about Sainz signing on.
Exactly. I just think a lot of those top teams are just starting to forget about Carlos Sainz. No, they don't. No one really wants him there anymore. I'm starting to see why Ferrari got rid of him and signed Lewis Hamilton. I would have made the exact same move. I remember at the time everyone was thinking, "What a shocking decision." Sainz is performing so much better, but seeing how he's gone this season so far in the regs, he just hasn't been driving the car well. The car hasn't been there, but he still hasn't extracted anything from what little juice there is in that car available.
100%. Yeah, Carlos Sainz, he was better than Leclerc in that final season at Ferrari. And yeah, it was a bit weird to see him go, but yeah, now he's not performing on these new regs, so it's going to be interesting to see how it all goes and plays out. But I think he does deserve another shot at a competitive car.
Yeah, he will. He'll go somewhere. Audi, I think, is a strong one for him if this Williams stint doesn't go to plan.
Yes, but now on to the last and final team, America. Haas, baby. What's playing at Haas? Because, hey, they love American drivers, but they don't have any yet.
Haas is ass, my guy. They are not good at this point in time. And Ollie Behrman's deal apparently keeps him until 2027. But this is the same sort of situation as Bortoletto, not yet confirmed. There's a few rumors going around. Red Bull, potentially there's always that links with Ferrari, but he could be moving up the field. And he's on a $1 million contract, so he could get a lot more money wherever he went. And then Esteban Ocon's contract is set to expire at the end of the year. It's worth $7 million. $7 million for Esteban Ocon. Give me $7 million and I'll outperform Esteban Ocon. So there could be a new driver pairing coming to Haas.
Yeah, cut Ocon's contract in half. Don't give him another one. I do not want to see Ocon extend at Haas. There's so many other drivers like Yuki Tsunoda. There's been rumors, right, about Yuki Tsunoda linked to Haas. I think that would be the perfect swap. Ocon out, Yuki in. Yuki next to Behrman, I think would be a great partnership.
It'd be good. And plus, he has that Ayo Komatsu link, the Japanese there. And now, with Toyota becoming a main sponsor of Haas, and potentially want to look into the sport and make engines and get back into it, they would want a Japanese driver for them, which makes sense with Yuki Tsunoda. I think that's a great option out of everyone that's realistically available. We've been throwing names around about Carlos Sainz everywhere else. But for Haas, Yuki. Aim for Yuki. Get him. That's a great driver to have for you.
100%. I think people disrespect Yuki too much based on that last season he had because, hey, that car was undrivable. Like, obviously, Lawson couldn't do it. Yuki couldn't do it. It was just a car that, it was awful. It was set to Max and Max only. So, and if we look back before Yuki was in that Red Bull seat, he was performing very, very well.
If he had stayed in that Racing Bulls, my Japanese podium prediction could have been on. Could have actually been on. But he made the bad decision and went to Red Bull. Should have stayed at Racing Bulls, brother.
Oh, God. So it's going to be an interesting, silly season. We're going to find out a lot of different contracts and a lot of different moves within the next month, I reckon. Before the end of September, we're going to find out who's going where, if there's any shock moves, which I do hope happen, because it's always good to see a random driver at a random team you didn't think would happen. So let's see how it all plays out.
Yeah, hopefully it gets silly. Everyone gets a little bit freaky, says, oh, I'm not signing with you guys. I'm going to take Lance Stroll's seat. I'm going to go Aston Martin. I'm going to do it. Esteban Ocon, I'm going to take his seat. Anyways, that wraps up this week's episode. Hopefully you all enjoyed it. Don't forget to Follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Break Late Talk Fast for daily clips, memes, and F1 news. And make sure you are subscribed on Spotify and YouTube for weekly episodes every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Catch up the chicken flag.
Peace.